Hi, welcome back to my video lesson. This is Mr. Long, your math teacher today. Now, today we're going to go through the Telok Kurau Primary School end of year exam practice paper 2, booklet D. Right, now let's make sure you have done your work first before you start watching this video. And the purpose of this is for you to go through your corrections so you can watch this and do correction at the same time. Or you can also use this just as a revision. Plug in your earphones, listen to the explanation. Let's get started. Now, question 21. Arrange the following numbers from the smallest to the greatest. Now, usually what I will suggest is to arrange the number out and I'll look from left to right. From the left, it's 666, all the same size. Next digit, 803. Of course, 0 is the smallest digit, right? So 6038, 6038 will be the smallest. Then I have 8 and 3. 8 is bigger than 3, isn't it? So 6,803 will be the greatest. And the leftover, the final number is in the middle. Now, next one. To subtract this, now usually I do not do mental sum, even though I'm an adult, because I have working here for me to check when I'm done with my work. And that is important. So make sure I stack my 5,678 directly on top of 1,739. I subtract. Of course, I will not go through the mechanics. You can check the working for yourself, and you should get this figure. Now, the next one, to find out what this answer is, well, these are equivalent fractions. So it's like I'm cutting my three parts into 15. How? I multiply by 5, I have 15 smaller parts. So if I multiply the denominator by 5, I have to multiply the numerator by 5 as well. So 2 times 5 will be 10. So if you were to simplify, it's like 15 divided by 5, I get 3. 10 divided by 5, I get 2. That's a way to check your work. Okay, next one. Writing your 7 over 6 as a 17/6 as a mixed number. Now, what's a mixed number? A mixed number looks like this. There's a whole number on the left, together with a fraction just next to it. So this can also be read as 17 divided. This line is like divided by 6. So 17 is inside, 6 is outside. 17 divided by 6. And then we have our 6 times 2 is 12. 17 minus 12 is 5. So this is my 2 whole. 2 whole, left over 5. 5 is on top here. And 6 is what I divided by earlier. How do I check whether I'm right or not? 2 times 6 is 12. 12 plus 5 is 17. There, you get this. Now, next, question 25. To add fractions, I need to make sure the denominator is the same for both of these fractions. Since this is a 6, it's not a 12, let's turn the 6 to a 12, which is quite simple. 6 times 2, 12. 5 times 2, 10. So now my denominator is the same. I can now add the numerator. 10 plus 1 is 11. I keep the denominator the same, so that is 12. Now, next one, writing 4 thousandths as a decimal. So this will be ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, right? So they want to write 4,000. So 4 is right at the back here in the third decimal place. First decimal place is a tens. Second decimal place will be the hundredth. And the third decimal place is thousands. So that's where my 4 goes to here. Now, next one, question 27. Round this off 12.55 to the nearest whole number. Basically, the idea is if you draw it on the number line, all right, the whole number that is nearest to 12.55, there are two whole numbers to the left and to the right of 12.55. To the left of 12.55 will be 12. To the right of 12.55 will be 13. So which whole number, 12 or 13, is nearer to 12.55? Once a number is at the midpoint, which is 12.5 or greater, it is nearer to the larger whole number. If the number is, let's say, 12.4, you'll be here, right? 12.4 will be nearer to the whole number that is smaller than it. Using a number line is one way to understand this rounding off idea. Of course, your teacher will have taught you, okay, if it's 5 or more than 5, you will add 1 to the whole number in front, this digit right in front here. and you get your 13. Remember, it's a whole number. Therefore, do not write a decimal. Do not write 13.00. If you do, that will be wrong. It has to be 13, not 13.00. Now, next one, 8.5 minus 0.74. Like what I mentioned earlier on, you got to write out the working. Now, some of you might have forgotten to write down might have forgotten to write the 0 here. You should. It shouldn't be an empty spot. Then you do your subtraction. All right, you borrow whatever you need. After you subtract it, you should get 7.76. Now, when I was doing a set of work with you, for you, I didn't bring my protractor. So sorry about this. So I do not have the answer for this. Next one. Now, Yanqi and Ahmad have $154 altogether. So you look at my model. Yanqi, Ahmad, 154 altogether. Now, Yanqi has $30 more than Ahmad. The more than part will always stick out. So this part where I drew this arrow from the left to the right, this part I'm circling my mouse. This is the larger, more than part. So how much does Ahmad have? First, I will cut out this 30. Okay, I have 124. This will then make two equal parts. So the remaining 124 will be the equivalent of these two equal parts. Next, I use 124 divided by 2, and I'll have 62. So one of them will be 62, and that one of them represents Ahmad's money, 62. Now this one is a little bit difficult, so if you don't understand the first time, just rewind and watch it again. Now Nadia had 78 stickers, and her sister has 24 stickers. How many stickers must Nadia give to her sister? So sorry, let me just I was clicking something. Okay. So how many stickers must she give? So let's look at the at first or the before model. Nadia clearly had more. So Nadia must move something over here, some stickers over to make it the same. This red color part represents the amount that she has to move over. But exactly what is this? Notice these two are the same in size. So this part has to be divided by 2. But what exactly is this part? It's simply the more than part, which is 78, subtract 24, I get 54. I divide this whole part is 54, right? I cut into half. So 54 divided by 2, I have 27. So the red color part will be 27, and that's the part brought down from Nadia to her sister. The next one is a simple multiplication question. A packet of sweet costs $3.65. Winnie bought 8 such packets of sweets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How much did she pay for the sweets altogether? I simply multiply by 8. Now, of course, if you're not so good at multiplication, you can try addition, though you should learn how to multiply. Adding this will be a lot more work. Okay, 8 times 5 times 8, 40. 6 times 8, 48, plus 4, 52. 3 times 8, 24, plus 5, 24 plus 5, 29. Don't forget the decimal. I have 29.20. Don't forget the 0 as well for dollars. Next one, this solid figure is a cuboid. It's not a rectangle. Rectangle will be the face. This is a cuboid. Next one, which is not a net of the above figure? The answer is B. Because when I try folding, this piece and this piece will bang into each other. Alright, they'll clash into each other. So cannot be these two come together. Right? So B is not a net. Sometimes the question asks you for not. So must make sure you look out and read the question carefully, because we are usually very tuned to looking for the correct answer. Sometimes the questions are quite interesting. They ask us to look for the wrong answers. Now, next one. Now, this is a rectangle. As you know, all the angles in a rectangle are equal to 90 degrees each. So, what is the angle of Y? I know the whole thing here is 90 degrees. So, I take away 47 and 16, I'll get Y. So let me add up 16 and 47 first. I added them together and I have 63. So 90 degrees minus 63, I get 27. This is how I get 27 degrees. Next one, the diagram shows an incomplete symmetric figure. The line AB is the line of symmetry. Think of line AB as a line that cuts a figure into two exactly equal halves, equal and mirror image of each other. But you can see that there are more shaded parts on the right hand side than the left hand side. Let me show you again. All right, like this. As you can see, this line of symmetry, the dotted line, is cutting this figure into half. But I can see that on the right hand side, there are actually more shaded part. What do I mean? I see one triangle, two triangle, three triangle. There's one triangle, two triangle, three triangles. Same. A square here, a square here. Same. So what is missing? This square is here, but there should be a square here as well. This square is here. There should also be a square here in order for this shape to be a shape that can be cut into half with a line of symmetry. So after doing it, it should look like this. Now study the diagram. You can see now that this line really cuts this diagram, this shape into two equal halves, which are mirror images of each other. When I'm doing this work in the test on the table or as a homework, feel free to shift the paper like I have, so you can see it clearer. Instead of looking at it this way, slanting, I prefer to look at it this way, where the line of symmetry is directly in front of me vertically like this. Right? Next one, and of course, I use pen to shade, but you should always use pencil. Why? In case you make a mistake, you can erase it off. Now, question 36. A square had an area of 100 square meters. It is cut into two identical rectangles. So what's the breadth of each rectangle? Now, let's go to a square first and area. Area is equal to length times breadth. So the length here times the breadth here, I will have 100. Since it's a square, all the sides are equal. 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 4 is 16. The only numbers I can multiply give me 100 with 10 times 10. 10 times 10 will give me 100. If I cut this 10 into half like this, of course, each of the breadths here will only be 5. So therefore, the breadth is 5 meters. Breadth is the shorter side of a rectangle. The length is the longer side of the rectangle. Or, okay, side is the wrong word. That's an edge. That's an edge. Okay, next one. Find the perimeter of the figure here. Now, there's a simple way to do this. Now, of course, you could have done things like 28 minus 20, you get 8 cm here. All right, and then you got stuck, and there's 8 cm here. Then you have 15 minus 8, you have 7 cm. I'm sure some of you will have this working. Listen carefully. You have 28 plus 7 plus 20 plus 8 plus 8 plus 15. Now, for me, I do it a bit differently. I'll push this line all the way to the right. I'll push this line all the way up. What do I mean? Let me show you. So this line in green is where I'm going to move up. You see, this line in green is a line here at first. Imagine I can pick up this line and push it. And this line in red was formerly this line. After I push this green line up and this red line over, what do you see? A big rectangle. What does a rectangle means? That the opposite lengths are the same. So 28 cm here. This side is 28 cm as well. So 28 plus 28 is 56. If this side is 15 cm, the opposite breadth of this rectangle should also be 15 cm. 15 cm plus 15 cm, I get 30 cm. Perimeter means you sum up or add up all the sides of this figure, all the lengths of this figure, and I add up 56 and 30 and I get 86 centimeter. Now for a graph question, always write down the numbers at each of these important points. So for example, at January, I look up, I look to the left, I see 4,000, I write 4,000. Those in my class, please make sure you have done this. If you have not, do it now. February, here is 1,500. March, this will be 2,500. April, this is 4,500. May, this is 500. June, this is 5,000. Okay, very easy to check. In which month was there 3 times as many visitors as in May? So I found that in May, there were 500 visitors. So what is 3 times? 3 times 500 will be 1,500 or 1,500. So which month did this place get 1,500 visitors? There, 1,500 visitors visited the Singapore River Safari in February. So the answer is February, or I just copy Feb will do. Next one, how many more people visited the Singapore Safari River in January than in March? So in January, 4,000 people visited the Singapore River Safari. In March, we had 2,500 people visiting the Singapore River Safari. So the difference between them is the more people. Difference means subtract. So 4,000 minus 2,500, I have 1,500 more people visiting the Singapore River Safari in January than in March. Next one. Now, okay, I show you part of it first. Mr. Ong drove from Singapore to Kuala Lumpur. So drove Singapore to Kuala Lumpur, KL. Now, when you're doing such question, please make sure you draw this timeline. If you have not done so, copy this, pause the video and copy this. After driving 2 hours and 15 minutes, he need to rest. So he stopped for 30 minutes. So you see, drove, 2 hours, 15 minutes. Drivers is important for them to rest because they need to rest their eyes, right? So here you see I mark here, rest for 30 minutes. Then he continued his journey for another 2 hours. Continue 2 hours. And then he reached Kuala Lumpur at 1100 hours. This actually means 11 a.m. But this is a 24-hour clock, so there's no decimal here. It's just 1100. So what time did he leave Singapore? We're going to work backwards. So you see, I redraw it to show you. At 1100 hours, go back 2 hours, right? 1 hour, go back 1 hour is 1000 hours. Go back 1 more hour is 900 hours. Here he rested for 30 minutes. So here I make sure I have a 30 minutes gap. So what is 30 minutes before 900 hours? That'll be 0830 hours. Then before that he drove for 2 hours 15 minutes. So I go back 1 hour. That'll be 0730. Go back another 1 hour, 0630. I must not forget 15 minutes. Go back 15 minutes before 6:30 in the morning. That'll be 6:15 in the morning, or 0615. What's the time he left Singapore? Okay, that ends booklet B, section B. Now let's go on to section C. Last 5 question here. Now, Jasmine, Louise, and Mina collected 2,525 plastic bottles for a project altogether. That is a lot of bottles. Jasmine collected 745 plastic bottles. So Jasmine, look at the model. If you have not done the model, or you're not sure, or you drew wrongly, just erase and use mine. Or you can also cut out a piece of paper neatly and paste it over, and then you draw the model over that piece of paper. Now, Louise collected 60 more plastic bottles than Mina. But I don't know how many bottles did Louise collect. I don't know, but I know it's more. So let's anyhow draw something that is long here. And in green, my green guy is Louise. And Mina is red. 60 more, right? More than is always the part that sticks out. The part that sticks out is a 60. Altogether is 2,525 plastic bottles. We're supposed to find out how many plastic bottles Mina collected. So let's see. My first step is this. Let's take away Jasmine's bottle. Because we don't need Jasmine, we're only looking for Mina. So let's take away Jasmine first. So take away means to subtract. So 2525 minus 745. 2525 minus 745. I get 1,780. 1,780 bottles will be the bottles that Louise and Mina had. But it's still not very useful because I need to find equal parts. To find equal parts, I need to take away the extra 60 that sticks out. Take away means subtract. So 1,780 take away 60, I have 1,720. This will be equals to this green part plus this red part. Are they equal? Yes. Equal means I can divide. There are 2 equal parts means I can divide by 2 to find Mina's part, which is this red color part. So 1,720 divided by 2, you can see my working at the side here. I have 860 bottles. Next one, question 42. Now, Kailing had $458 more than Ravi at first. So you notice that $458 more than is a part that sticks out. This part I'm circling. After Kailing spent $78, this is $78 that she spent away. I color in green. She had 5 times as much money as Ravi. Ravi didn't spend. So Ravi 1 part. Then Kailing will have 5 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So to find out this 4 part, 1, 2, 3, 4, I use 458, subtract away this green color part, which is 78. I'll have 380. Next, I take away, this is 4 parts, right? To find 1 part, why 1 part? Because Ravi is 1 part here. See, Ravi in red, 1 part. If I know 4 part is 380, I divide 380 by 4, I get the value of 1 part, which is the amount of money Ravi had. Don't forget your units. Notice that for section C, they don't give you the units anymore. For section B question, for example, sometimes they will still give you the units. Sometimes. Sometimes. I see CM, no, they give it to you. For section C, don't give it to you. So you've got to write it down yourself. If not, you will lose marks. Units, dollars. Now, next one. How much money did Kailing and Ravi have together at first? So at first means, remember, this is the amount we got 95. So every part is 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95. There are a few ways of doing. You can count there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 95. You times 6. Then add the green color part, which is 78, and get $648. It's money, right? Or the other method is this. You know, this whole chunk here is 458. Add 95 and 95 there. You also get 648. Okay, and don't forget your units. That's another reminder. Hanging there, just 3 more questions. String A is 11, 12 meter long. String B is half meter shorter than string A. See, half meter shorter. String C is 1/3 meter longer than string B. String C is longer by 1/3. Now, next one. What's the length of string B? String B, very simple. Use the length of string A, take away the extra half. So 11, 12 minus half. And remember, you cannot subtract straight away. You got to change to equivalent fraction. Denominator had to be make the same. So I times 2. So I times 6 to get 12 and 6. I subtract and then I'll get 11 minus 6. I have 5. On my denominator, I keep it the same. So 512. And don't forget units, right? This is all in meters. So 512 meters. What's the total length of string B and string C? Very simple. I found string B already. Now string C is longer by 1/3. So I plus string B's length plus string C's extra 1/3 here. Again, change the equivalent fraction. I times 4 to get 12. And here I get 4. So 5 plus 4 is 9. 12 is just 12. I keep the denominator the same. Now, what is the total length of string B and C? B is 512, then plus 912. 512 plus 912, I get 1412. And this is, I need to simplify. I divide by 2, top and bottom, I get 76. And I change this to a mixed number. We are asked to change to a mixed number, so you have to change to a mixed number. I get 1 whole and 1 6. Next one, Katie had 4 times as much money as Darius at first. After Katie spent $4.10, Darius received $6.70 from his mother. Let's take a look at the model here. So at first, you see, Katie had 4 times as much money as Darius. Okay, so I drew 4 times, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now then, Katie spent $4.10. Spend means minus $4.10, right? Darius now increased by $6.70, increase, right? And then they have the same amount. See, they meet here same. So what this means is that you see this whole part starting from here, 670 all the way here, 410. If I add these two numbers together, I get this whole stretch, which is these 3 units. So if I add 670 and 410, I'll have the value of 3 units, which is here $10.80. So the value of 1 unit I divided by 3, I get $3.60. And Darius is 1 unit only, right? At first, so that is $3.60. Now, some of you will be careless and write down 3.6 without the 0. Remember, for dollar sign, for dollar answers, you need to have 2 decimal places in your answer because your cents is like that. you don't write don't write $3.6. You have to write this 0 to get your answer mark. Now, how much money did Kitty have in the end? In the end means we look at the second model. So at first, she will have 4 times, each part is 3.6, right? So 4 times 3.6, I will have 14.4. At first, she had $14.40. Hey, Ms. Long, how can I never write 0 here? This part is okay, this part is the working, it's not the answer. So it's okay not to write the 0 here. And in the end, remember she spent $4.10, so I subtract away $4.10, I will have $10.30. Again, I must write the 0, remember? Write this 0. And don't forget the units. Last question. The total area of square P and square Q is 74 square centimeter. The length of each side of both squares is a whole number. This one, I think some of you probably left it blank because you're not sure how to do this. So I'll suggest one method. It may not be the best method, but this is a method you can always try whenever you are stuck. It's called guess and check. So you look at the heading first. So I don't know, right? What's the possible length of the big square P? I do not know what's the area. I don't know what's the possible length of the small q. I don't know the area of q. I don't know the total area. As I know the total area should be 74. But I do not know any of the first 1, 2, 3, 4. I do have one clue, which is they are all whole numbers. All the length are whole numbers. Whole numbers means no decimal, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All these are whole numbers. Now, I know some numbers are definitely wrong. If the total is 74, I cannot have 10 cm because 10 times 10 is 100. What if it's 9 cm? Also cannot because 9 times 9, right? If the length of the big square is 9 cm, 9 times 9 is 81. That's really bigger than 74. It's wrong. What if the length of the big one is 8? Then you see on this side, I just decrease 9, 8, 7, 6. Then for the length of the small square, I now increase from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I find the area. You notice 8 times 8 64, 7 times 7 49, 6 times 6 36. Here 1 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is, oh no, silly mistake. It's not 2. You see, careless mistake. If I have no working, I can't check. 1 times 1 should be 1. It's 1. Silly me. 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 4 is 16, 5 times 5 is 25. Then I check. Can you see which two numbers add up to give you 74? I'll pause for a moment. Do you find it? Yes, it's these two. 49 and 25 add up to give you 74. Therefore, this is your answer. You are supposed to find out what is the length of, see, what is the area of square P? Found, 49. What's the area of square Q? Found, 25. And what is the length of the small square Q? 5 times 5, right? So 5 is the length. And that's the end. Thank you for hanging there for this past 28 minutes. I wish you all the best in the preparation for your exam. I'll see you in the next video. This is Mr. Long signing off.